Warm, earthy, and grassy. That's good. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to listen to David Bowie. We're going to listen to his Song for Bob Dylan, off of the album Hunky Dory, which was released in 1971. We are almost through with this, huh? It's time to start thinking about what our next album from Mr. Bowie's going to be. And, I mean, there's a lot to choose from, but it's almost time. Not quite yet. I still want to enjoy the last few remnants, the last few songs of this particular journey, but it's almost time, you know? Like, the names of some of the other albums are kind of floating now in my mind, whereas before they were not. So let's go ahead and listen to this one. Now, as I've mentioned before, Bob Dylan is an artist that I am largely, and by largely I mean wholly, unfamiliar with. I don't really know much about him. I don't know much about his music. I've listened to very, 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 very little from Bob Dylan. So any meaning about the song for Bob Dylan I'll have to read about, as I'm not going to know it probably just listening and reading the lyrics, but we'll kind of go from there, discover a little bit of the meaning behind what Mr. Bowie means, and we'll learn together. So thank you so much for being here. Let's go ahead and get into it. This is David Bowie with Song for Bob Dylan.
A truthful vengeance that could pin us to the floor. Brought a few more people on and put the fear in a whole lot more. Ah, here she comes, here she comes, here she comes again. The same old crazy lady from the brow of the super brain. She'll scratch this world to pieces. She comes on like a friend. Couple of songs from your old scrapbook. Send her home again. Gave your heart to every bedsit room, at least a picture on the wall. And you sat behind a million pair of eyes and told them how they saw. Then we lost the train of thought. Your paintings are all while troubles are rising, we'd rather be scared together than alone. Oh, here she comes, here she comes, here she comes again. Same old crazy lady from the brow of the super brain. She'll scratch this world, he says, as she comes on like a friend.
So even though I don't know anything about Bob Dylan, I can recognize that this is just a very, very respectful ode to the person of Bob Dylan, to his creativity, to his person, and what he means when it comes to music, what he means when it comes to people, and what he meant to those people, all those ears that listened to him for so many years in his career. That is the biggest crown of respect that we've just heard from David Bowie to Mr. Bob Dylan, which we're going to read a little bit more as I get into the lyrics and everything. But can I just kind of take a slight diversion and just quickly mention how perfect Wakeman is in here? When I came to listen to this album, of course, I'm naturally excited to, hear what Rick Wakeman, absolute wizard of the keyboards from Yes, would do when working with David Bowie before being in Yes. That's something that really excited me, coming into this. And his piano playing, it's so perfect, and I really do mean that, like with a capital P. There's nothing I would change. Every single note rings out in the perfect place, just at the right moment, with the perfect amount of intensity, the right amount of drive and melody. So harmonious with Ronson's guitar work, which I've complimented throughout this album. I find those two just so fantastic in what they're doing. Listen to how they play together. If you just isolate the guitar and the piano, you already come up with a beautiful track. Take out everyone else. It's gorgeous. I can't help but hone in and focus on that. As beautiful as everything is, I keep on getting carried away by Wakeman and Ronson. That sounds like a good duo, actually. And then, as I mentioned, Bowie's tone as he sings is just sung with the utmost respect, the proper dues he is giving to Bob Dylan. I really like the chorus as well, as in between the beats, you got Ronson rising with the guitar, and then those beautiful harmonies come up. So it's just a very dynamic chorus as well. I think that this is honestly maybe one of the best songs I've heard on this album, possibly ranking among my favorites. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to need another listen to it. But as of right now, I think that this is quite a standout, to be honest. Awesome rocker, but it has sentiment. It has heart behind it. Even if you didn't have the lyrics to go according to that, I think you would still feel that there's something, a strong emotional pull and meaning behind everything here. Love the way these harmonies erupt. Wakeman backs up on the piano, then we bring the intensity forth again, get back into that strong headbanging riff. This makes you move in so many different ways. Oh, and then that's awesome. Just bass and piano really in the forefront there and creating that new drive, a new kind of emotion. That's what I mean. The song rocks, the song moves you, it makes you tap your toes, but I think it also makes you think a little bit. Maybe it makes you tear up a little bit if you really get into the lyrics of what I'm assuming. There's a strong emotional weight and a rock and roll weight as well. So let's talk about the lyrics here really quick. And like I said, I don't know anything about Bob Dylan, so I'm just going to do and go with my initial interpretation, and then we'll read a little bit after to make sure I at least speak of some truth. Oh, hear this, Robert Zimmerman, I wrote a song for you. So I'm already assuming that Robert Zimmerman is Bob Dylan's real name. About a strange young man called Dylan, with a voice like sand and glue. I love that line. I haven't heard a lot from Dylan, but he does have a very unique voice. Sand, it's gritty, it's rough, it's a strong texture, and glue, it sticks, right? If you think about sand and glue, I don't know, I'm thinking of a really weird image, to be honest, but it's like a little snowball, but it's a sand ball, and it holds everything together. It's gritty, but maybe he also means in the sense of his words and his voice sticks to the people. There's something about his voice that's just that captures people. His words of truthful vengeance, they could pin us to the floor, brought a few more people on, and put the fear in a whole lot more. So just himself, his words could absolutely just pin you to the floor. They could bowl you over. They were that powerful. And I would imagine when they say, or when Bowie says, brought a few more people on and put the fear in a whole lot more, Bob Dylan brought on a band, perhaps more members to play with him, and so his music really erupted from a certain point. Ah, here she comes, here she comes, here she comes again, the same old painted lady from the brow of a superbrain. She'll scratch this world to pieces as she comes on like a friend, but a couple of songs from your old scrapbook could send her home again. So initially, I was thinking that this painted lady that he describes was like his muse, his inspiration, but I think it's like the, for lack of a better word, whatever the force that Bob Dylan is singing against, whatever he's protesting against in his songs, that's who or what this painted lady represents. And the line where Bowie says, but a couple of songs from your old scrapbook could send her home again. His words were so powerful that he could beat this painted lady back with just that in his music. You gave your heart to every bedsit room, at least a picture on my wall. And you sat behind a million pair of eyes and told them how they saw. He affected people from just the one person who was sitting in their bedroom, perhaps listening to his music, to a million pair of eyes on stage. He affected everybody that heard him. Then we lost your train of thought. The paintings are all your own. While troubles are rising, we'd rather be scared together than alone. So maybe Bob Dylan had some problems at one point, and that's why Bowie says, we lost your train of thought. We kind of lost you. Maybe something changed in Bob Dylan's music and his approach. And that's why they were like, what are you doing? We're kind of lost right now. But even then, Bowie says we'd rather be scared together than alone, because perhaps that's what Bob Dylan had taught them with his music, to be together, to unify. And then the chorus repeats again. Now hear this, Robert Zimmerman, though I don't suppose we'll meet. Ask your good friend Dylan if he'd gaze a while down the street. I like how he kind of refers to the separate personas of Bob Dylan and Robert Zimmerman, though they're, I'm assuming, one and the same. Tell him we've lost his poems, so we're writing on the walls. Give us back our unity and give us back our family. You're every nation's refugee. Don't leave us with their sanity. So he's basically saying, look, we may have in a way lost Bob Dylan, but let him know, telling to Robert Zimmerman, Bob Dylan, let him know that even though we've lost his poems, we've taken his message and now we're writing back on the walls. We are living his message. A couple of songs from your old scrapbook could send her home again. Yeah, very, very, very respectful song. Excellently executed, especially, like I said, from Ronson and Wakeman. But beautiful playing. Gorgeous thing. So, like, reading on Wikipedia now, it says that the song references Bob Dylan's 1962 homage to Woody Guthrie, Song to Woody. Yet, while Dylan appears or opens with Hey, hey, Woody Guthrie, I wrote you a song, Bowie addresses Dylan by his birth name. Now hear this, Robert Zimmerman. Okay. Bowie revealed the true intention for writing the song in 1976 Melody Maker interview. There's even a song for Bob Dylan, that laid out what I wanted to do in rock. It was at that period that I said, okay, Dylan, if you don't want to do it, I will. I saw that leadership void. Even though the song isn't one of the most important on the album, it represented to me what the album was all about. If there wasn't someone who was going to use rock and roll, then I'd do it. That's kind of interesting, huh? He saw a particular void, a voice that wasn't being sung or used. And he said, okay, well, if they're not going to do it, I will do it. Interesting. Different meaning than I would have kind of assumed. Let me know what you guys thought of this track. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I thought it was killer. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You can follow me in a bunch of places. You can support the channel on Patreon, which has absolutely helped a lot, just in life, in general, in everything. So thank you so much for that. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here today. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.